So today on Author Talk with John Hartness, Darin Kennedy, and AJ Hartley, and I 100% just about pointed to the wrong one of you and said your names.
It matters not.
Yeah, well, today on Between Two Nerds, I am Zach Galifianakis. Say it? Galifianakis. Yeah.
It wasn't bad enough that he had to learn how to say Mussorgsky, now he has to say Galifianakis too.
Say it, hell, I had to learn to spell it. That's how I sell that book. When somebody walks up to the table, I'm like, look, if you can pronounce Mussorgsky, just give me $20.
It sounds like something out of Hitchhiker's Guide, doesn't it? It's like, we're approaching the planet of Galifianakis, the moon of Mussorgsky, we're going to orbit.
Oh no, like the Mussorgsky belt.
Yeah.
Or the Mussorgsky meteor shower.
Nice.
Meanwhile, our topic for today is misconceptions writers have about themselves, and I want to tell an AJ Hartley story.
Maybe I should have been told about this before the camera started running.
Not a chance.
I had a feeling, though.
All right, so every once in a while AJ will get real British on us, and he'll get very, very self-effacing and very I'm rubbish and all of this. And now we will all admit that Dr. Hartley is not the best hand-selling guru that we've ever seen at a convention.
I'm outraged. I'm out of here. No. This may be true.
It may be true. I bet that if pressed, you could sell a gallon of water to a dying man in the Sahara.
Depends on the price, really, doesn't it?
There we go.
There we go.
All right, so we're at Con Carolinas, and AJ is theoretically selling books. In this case, he was actually selling books because I watched money change hands.
I prefer to think of it as a kind of performance art, where you just sort of sit there and people walk past the table and admire the pretty covers.
Yeah.
It's a sort of museum approach to book selling.
It is. And having worked in a museum bookshop and gift shop, I know how many books museums sell on the average, and it's about the same. Mm-hmm. But I watched a young woman buy a book from you, and then a little while later, we're talking, and AJ, as he sometimes does, mentions that hand-selling books is not his favorite thing. At which point I said, do you understand why that girl was shaking when she gave you $20? Because
just stolen it.
No, but because to her, you were the celebrity at that moment. And that is sometimes hard for us to accept, that we are actually successful fantasy writers. Not many people get published. I can confirm that the last time we were open for submissions, we took 1.5% of the things that came in on submission.
Really?
Yeah. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. 0.75%. We took 2 books out of 300 submissions the last time we were open. So just the fact that we have books on the shelf, and in your cases on the tables here at Get Some Game in Charlotte, North Carolina, the finest local game store. Yeah, I'm a shameless whore. But what are some other misconceptions that you think writers have about themselves? What are the things that we get wrong about us? What do we think that is just like, no, that's insane?
I think one of the things that writers get wrong is that they think the first book is the hardest, and after that it's all gravy. If you can get a book published, then from that point on everything's going to be great. And
Yeah.
at least in traditional publishing, that, if it was ever true, that has really, really changed. That it's very much, what have you done for us lately?
How many different publishers have you worked with? Basically all of them? Tor,
Penguin, House, Tor, Simon & Schuster,
Amazon. Us.
Falstaff, yes.
We're not in quite the same league as
The others.
the others. Yeah.
UClan.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, I've worked with a lot of different publishers.
And that's in close to a 20-year career as a published author.
Yes.
And Darin, you've not been in this 20 years, but still gone through 2 different novel publishers and a string of anthology presses.
And a couple self-pubs as well. I would say the thing that writers probably don't get right is very akin to what AJ said. When I got my book done, that hard part is over. That is false. Whenever I got my agent, that was the hard part. No, because they have to find a home for your book. I now have a publisher. The hard part is over. No, they have to sell your book. My book is on a shelf somewhere. That is over. No, because that publisher might fall.
And even if they don't, people have to buy the book.
People have to buy the book.
And that increasingly falls to us to do the marketing, even with big houses.
And that was where I was eventually going to get to, is that you've written a book, you've got it edited, you've gotten an agent, you've gotten a publisher, it is available, and there I think is the hardest part for authors and publishers. Is I've said this 10,000 times. It kind of doesn't matter if you make the best pizza on the planet if nobody knows where your pizza restaurant is. And that is the hardest lesson I've had to learn. Is I think I make pretty good pizza, but people have to walk in the door of my pizza place.
And it's particularly hard when every store on your block is a pizza place.
This is true.
I really want pizza now.
I will take care of that in a few minutes.
Awesome. One of the things I think that writers are wrong, the misconception that writers have, is once you reach a certain level of success financially and creatively, it's time to quit your day job. Now we could go into the misconceptions about how and when to quit your day job or not.
This is
that's
not
a whole
this is not the day for
nother,
this conversation.
it's a whole nother video, and we are far too sober for this, and Darin will always be.
Speaking of somebody who today quit his day job.
Well, and I've told Darin that he's never allowed to quit his day job because he literally saves people's lives at his day job. I don't think we've been accused of that.
We enrich people's lives.
I didn't. I took their money. I was in sales. But the biggest misconception I see people having as they're transitioning from a day job and writing to writing full time is everybody thinks they'll get so much more written now. You won't.
Yeah, I used to think that. I used to figure if I was able to structure my teaching load so that I was only actually in school 2 days a week. Often I would have to go in another day. But if I was doing a Tuesday, Thursday schedule and had all my classes, then I had Monday, Wednesday, Friday to work on my fiction. And I could usually do about 3,000 words per day, first draft, if I was working like that. And so when one semester or the end of a semester comes and suddenly the summer's wide open, you think, I am now going to double my output per week, stays about the same.
And
3,000 words a week.
And the reason for that is I always, yesterday was my birthday, but I always take the week of my birthday off. And what you find is that when your brain is finally freed up from the day-to-day stuff, all of those things that you have put off, like getting a stump out of the ground or putting new tires on your car, these are all of the things I did in the last week. I wrote today, finally, on day 8 of my 10 days off in a row. I finally put 1,500 words down this morning. So the minute you suddenly free up all your time, it's also free time to get all the other stuff you've been putting off done.
But I found that even if I was able to still have that free time, those extra couple of days or something, I would sit at the computer all fired up and ready to go, and I'd just stare at it, and I was like,
there's no pressure.
And maybe it's because I got used to that 3-day schedule or something, but I need the downtime between writing for my brain to figure out what comes next.
Yeah, I find that I'll see people posting word counts, and I used to do this, and I've stopped because, well, one, it's significantly lower than it used to be, but I find that I only have X number of words in me per day, no matter if I'm spending a chunk of the day taking care of cats and another chunk of the day dealing with publishing questions and then a chunk of the day writing, or if all I have on my plate is write all day. I'm still not going to get more than, at an absolute stretch, 4,000 or 5,000 words in a day, and that's
a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's I did 4,000 words a day for a week because I was on deadline for a 20,000 word novella, and I got it done in 5 days. But whew.
I mean, there've certainly been times where I've managed to get a lot done, but when people post like the word count stuff, I have to restrain myself when they're like, I did 8,000 words today, and I really always want to say, how many of them were good?
Yeah.
You know, how many of them will survive a basic second draft?
Or much higher than 8,000 will just my mind. I'm like, because
Oh yeah.
like the most I think I've ever written a day was somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500, and that was like, that's like a one-off for me. Like if I, like this morning I got 1,500, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
And that's what my brain will do. For me, when because I have posted word counts quite a bit in the time, and a lot of times the only reason I'm doing that is for a while I was putting it out on social media so that people would see it as a means of holding myself accountable. That I was doing it not for them, I was doing it for me. Like
Kind of like weight loss pictures.
It's
not that either of these two
the same
skinny
thing.
bastards would know anything about needing to post weight loss pictures, but there might be someone in publishing who understands.
And has successfully lost a lot of weight in the
Indeed.
last few years and looks great.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Yeah, not been easy.
Nope, you rocked it.
Thanks. Still working on it. But no.
And we're still getting pizza.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're totally still getting pizza.
I haven't forgotten. Gotta bring it all the way around.
I was going to say we should switch seats simultaneously because Darin's managing to be both the angel and the devil on his shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got the wings and the fish.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. And I'm
Yeah.
going to completely bugger it.
Huh. So I don't know which one of you is Pratchett and which one of you is Gaiman in this setting. I think you get to.
always choose Pratchett.
I think you get to pick first just because you're British.
Pratchett.
All right. Well, I guess
My
you're
middle-
stuck being Neil Gaiman.
My middle name is Neil, so I guess that's gonna work anyway.
All right.
Just not spelled correctly.
Yeah, fuck y'all. And what you get if David Tennant ate the other guy?
He's 10 and 11.
There you go. All
No
right.
tie.
That's what we've got for you today on Author Talk. Until next time, this is Darin Kennedy. This is AJ Hartley. I'm John Hartness. And go buy a book. We got to pay for this pizza. Bye.
Right.